Hi guys, this is Zach from Watches on You, and today I'll be taking a look at what, in my opinion, is the best dive watch under $100. This is the Casio MDV-106, and I'm going to say it just right at the beginning here. If you're interested in buying this watch, we're going to leave a link down in the description of the cheapest listing we could find online. So if you'd like to purchase it, just purchase it off that link. And now we're going to take it down to the table and get a closer look at it. Okay guys, here's this watch in greater detail, and right off the bat I'm going to go off of this watch's stainless steel case. Now, being that this watch is in the price range of around $40, its case is done extremely well. I like how Casio used a mixture of polished and brushed edges. You don't generally see that on cheaper watches. Usually they just do one type of finish all the way around, but with this one you do get two. So on the sides you get a nice polish that actually I think for this price point is done incredibly well. It shines beautifully, very, very well done. And then you have a brushing on top of the lugs, which I really like, making it more of kind of a tough dive watch. Kind of gives it more of that look. And the brushing was also done extremely well for a $40 watch. So now I'll go on to the diver's bezel. So the diver's bezel is a 120 click bezel with a aluminum insert. Now, being that this is a $40 watch, you're not gonna see ceramic inserts, but the aluminum insert is great. So, yeah, it looks fantastic, very legible on the bezel, and the action for this is extremely good. I mean, they did an incredible job. Honestly, I would compare this to the likes of even the Rolex Submariner. It is that good. You really have to check this watch out. I mean, it clicks, it's super smooth, but not so easy to click where you're going to accidentally knock it. It is done extremely well. It feels very good in your hands, and yeah, I would compare this to the Rolex Submariner. It is that good. So, yeah, I mean, I really got to give tips to Casio there. They did an incredible job with the bezel. So, now moving on to the dial. The dial is an extremely legible black sunray dial with a with white indices all surrounded by kind of a polished metal. So as I said, it's extremely legible. The white contrasts very well with the black, and that makes it visible in all light conditions. Now, one little thing I'd say about the dial that I'm not so fond of is when you kind of hit it in the light, it is a shiny, reflective dial. It looks a little cheap in the light, and the sunray isn't perfectly straight. You can see there's a little curve in it, but I mean, that's a very small kind of thing. I mean, it's a $40 watch, so you're not really going to expect a Rolex quality sunray dial. But it still gets the job done and is extremely legible, and being a dive watch, that is the most important feature. So now the hands here, you have your standard minutes, hours, seconds. The second is highlighted with red on the tip, making it stand out more, so then you can quickly just see your seconds. And then the hour and minutes are very legible as well, as you can see that the hour has a large arrow on the end, so that way you can see just which one's hours very quickly and just glance at it. Now, you also have a date window at 3 o'clock, which I really like how Casio did it. They outlined it with white. That just, again, gives it a lot more legibility, so you can quickly glance at it and in all light conditions. And I like how they didn't do a cyclops on it. It kind of makes the dial look more symmetrical, and I like how they also made the 3 o'clock indice shorter than that, just adding to the details of the watch, and that makes it again more symmetrical. So now the movement on this watch is I don't really know if they tell you the number of it, but it's just a quartz movement. A $40 price range, you're not really going to expect an automatic movement. I'd say the first good automatic dive watch you're going to see is the SKX007. You can also see the Seiko Sea Urchin. That is an automatic move, but only 100 meter water resistance. And actually going off to water resistance, this has a water resistance of 200 meters, which is perfect for diving. You're never really going to need to dive below that. So yeah, the movement, standard quartz movement. It gets the job done. Nothing fancy, but it gets it done. You're not going to be, I found it to be very accurate, no problems with it, gets the job done. So, now I'm just going to go, so the strap I have on this watch, I'm going to say that. So this strap is just a nylon NATO I put on it, but the strap it comes with is a rubber strap right here. It's this. Not very good quality. If you get this watch, you're going to need to replace the strap. I mean, it feels like very plasticky rubber. But yeah, I mean, you'll need to replace it if you buy this watch. But I mean, I kind of like how Casio didn't put a lot of work into the strap or put a bracelet on it, because they really just spent all the work on the watch, which is what really matters. I think in a lot of cheap watches, they put like bracelets on them and stuff, and that cheapens the watch itself. So I like how Casio just put a cheap strap on it and then made the watch as good as it can be for this price. So, actually, one more thing, sorry, I would want to mention with the movement in hands. So, also, one thing I found on this one, I don't know if that's this will be kind of random with people, but I found that, so on quartz movements, unless you're paying a good amount of money for a watch with the quartz movements, the second hand usually does not line up with the markers on the chapter ring that you can see there. But what I found is on this watch, it lines up very, very well. So I don't know if that's kind of by coincidence or Casio actually worked to do that. But if they did work to do that, I applaud them for it, because it really that's one of my pet peeves with quartz watches on the second hand. Doesn't match up, because it's kind of really hard to fix that. So, but on this one it does, so that's absolutely perfect. So now I'm going to do a wrist shot of this watch. Now, on the wrist, the watch itself is very comfortable. I mean, my strap is. The other strap isn't quite as comfortable, I'd say. But, yeah, so here, one sec, I've got to get into focus here, and there we go. Okay, so here's the watch on the wrist. Now, I wouldn't say it's large, but I also wouldn't say it's small. I'd say it's larger than, I'd say it's about the same size as like an SKX, so around the 45 millimeter. Yeah, if you really like small watches, I wouldn't go with it, but I think this is I like it for a dive watch. You're going to want it a little bigger. I think it's perfect. Yeah, so it fits my wrist really well. If you really don't like larger watches, I don't know if this is for you. I think you could still manage it. It's not that big. It's not like any of the big Breitlings or anything that are just completely massive. So yeah, I think it's very well done on the wrist and looks very good. So yeah, overall, this watch is incredible value for money. I mean, for what you're getting, I mean, I'm just going back to that diver's bezel. It feels incredible. I would buy this watch just for the bezel alone. It is absolutely perfect for $40. I mean, I've felt dive watches that are in excess of $1,000, and their bezels aren't nearly as good as this. I mean, I was blown away when I first spun this bezel, and then I realized it was only a $40 watch. If you were to blind test me with this, I would say it would be a Submariner or something like that. So yeah, incredibly well done bezel. It looks very, very good for a watch at this price, man. I'd say it looks like it costs a few $100 instead of $40. It is just done incredibly well. So yeah. Overall, fantastic. I would for sure purchase it. And if you guys want to purchase it, as I said at the beginning of this video, we are going to drop a link down in the description. And that's where we found the cheapest listing on this. It's an Amazon link, so it's not like a sketchy site or anything. But yeah, if you are interested in buying that, just use that link in the description. So yeah, great watch. Thanks for watching this video, and remember to check out our others and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.